What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Ronald Williams back from the Outlet Podcast. The greatest and latest, the boldest and the coldest, aka Platinum with no features, man. Chilling. Finally have a day off, Managed to get back to moving a little bit. And I'm kind of sore, but, I'm really going to take this day to relax. So I've been relaxing and reflected on my past experiences. My homeboy telling me about he want to get married and everything. It's just different stuff's been coming my way. But the one thing I have been thinking about as of today is I'm from Hazlehurst, Georgia. And down here, motherfuckers tend to like to either. It's usually a area full of people that have fucked off their lives, done a bunch of stupid shit when they were younger. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers with no guidance. And people that think they know but don't have shit to show for it. Now, I was just thinking to myself earlier, I was watching Coach Red Pill, and I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a white dude. And I'm just listening like, yo, this motherfucker's saying some real shit. Like, in-depth shit. And I think to myself when I was younger, I was like, damn, I wish YouTube was around when I was younger. So I'm going to call this one Reach. So what I mean by Reach is, being rich is one thing. Having money is one thing. It's a great thing. But knowledge is a motherfucker. I really do believe that. Because the conversation me and my homeboy had about him getting married, you know what I'm saying? Being married is something I've already experienced. Not making this about the marriage, but it's like being that I'm able to give him my insight on what I think about, marriage and relationships and stuff when it comes to the point of his life where he wants to be married, you know what I'm saying? That's a blessing in itself. You know what I'm saying? Adjust my camera. To be able to tell a motherfucker what you think based off experience. Now, I don't think everybody's experience is going to be like mine. But what I mean by this whole reach shit is you have to reach outside of your environment for knowledge. Like, half the shit I know and the other half of the shit I know is either one, things I learned from older people, dudes specifically, or two, some shit I've had to experience by not being around other older people that I either A, didn't listen to, or B, didn't have at the time. Now, my dad has told me a lot of stuff in his life. Like, it's crazy how me and his relationship is now. I remember when I was 18, I used to have an issue with him over how he treated my mother. You know what I'm saying? That was really where a lot of our rift came from because of the type of person he was. I remember at 24, me and him stopped talking over my box Chevy or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And we fell out for like 2 years. And now I remember, now I'm 30, and it's like me and him are like cool. We cool as fuck. Like, but the conversations me and him have, it's like, I feel like I'm gonna have that same conversation with either my nephew or my oldest at some point. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm at a point in my life where it's like, I'm trying to reach out and think of other things different and, break outside of this box or whatever. Like, I feel like I'm out of the box mentally, but I don't feel like I'm out of the box physically. You know what I'm saying? Like, I stay in Hazlehurst. I don't fool with none of this shit that's out here, like the parties and the park and all the other shit. Because usually those are kind of like breeding grounds for like bullshit. And me personally, my mind is just not there anymore. Like, even with women, like, I deal with women differently these days. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I know how I want to maneuver with the women I want to maneuver with, how to make them feel certain stuff, how to make them feel emotions, and what type of women to pick in my life. I didn't have that knowledge of that when I was 18 and 21. I made a lot of dumbass mistakes that could have been avoided if I just simply had the goddamn knowledge. Like, looking back at it, I think my dad and my homeboy tried to tell me not to get married. You know what I'm saying? I remember that. And I remember how that went specifically, And I'm not throwing no shade. I just draw a lot of video ideas off that experience because it was an 8-year experience. You know what I'm saying? So it went for a real long time. And I'm telling you, a marriage and a divorce will teach you more about life than just about anything else. You know what I'm saying? Other than injury. And I've been through a lot of shit. So it's kind of like, instead of making the mistakes, instead of moving too fast, instead of doing this or doing that, my margin for error is about this big. You know what I'm saying? And I only say that because, for one, I'm too old to be out here fucking up for real. Like, The motherfucker that broke my arm, to be real with you, was a fucking kid. You know what I'm saying? He's 19. He's a kid. To me, he's a kid. But I remember being 18, 19 on that type of shit. Now, I ain't never stole off on nobody. But I'm just making a point to where it's like, I'm 11 years older than this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And if you had the knowledge of things that, if you knew the consequences of the things you do or how it would alter your life, would you still do it? You know what I'm saying? If I known my marriage is going to turn out to be all this shit, I probably wouldn't have done it. You know what I'm saying? But chances are, I probably would be like how my homeboy is. He's 30, I'm 30. He wants to get married. And at this point in my life, you couldn't fucking talk me into a marriage. Like, a motherfucker couldn't pay me enough to do that shit again. You know what I'm saying? A motherfucker couldn't pay me enough to have a kid. I've almost considered having a vasectomy. Me and my cousin was talking about that last night. And she's like, what if you meet a new girl and she wants to have a kid? You know, because she's like, well, you're dating and everything. She's like, what if you meet a new girl and she wants to have a kid? You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to have a kid. I'm like, well, she's going to have to go somewhere else to find one. Because I'm not making no more kids. You know what I'm saying? But I have the knowledge of, like, okay, when I was 24, 21 through 24, you know what I'm saying? I was really just winging a lot of shit. I know how to not make babies, but I was putting myself in positions to make kids in a way. Like, I had girlfriends and I would have unprotected sex with these girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? And nothing really came from it, but there were times where I almost had a kid. Now, here's the thing. I was already married, you know what I'm saying? I already had 2 kids, one biological, one unbiological, you know what I'm saying? And, another kid from a different woman would have just made shit worse. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, I'm married. You know what I'm saying? I made a lot of stupid ass mistakes when I was younger. And I just think to myself, if I'd have had somebody around me that was teaching me this shit at the time that I probably would have actually tried to listen to, you know what I'm saying? I probably could have avoided a lot of this shit. And that's what I mean by this reach shit, because it's like, at the age of 30, I'm not saying I don't have time to make mistakes. I choose not to make mistakes because it's like, to me, the future matters more than the past. Like, yeah, I'd be pissed off about this arm and shit. Yeah, I am honestly pissed. Listen, I really am honestly still pissed off about this shit. But I try not to live in the past. I just use it. When I got my arm broke, my vision got fixed. And it's a quote I use. It's just something I made up. But it really taught me a lot. I drew a lot off that one experience, even though it was like, 2 months ago? I drew a lot off that one experience to the extent of how folks didn't care. But at the time, had I had someone tell me, listen, these folks don't give a fuck about you, know what I'm saying? My point of view on it would have been different. Like, okay, well, maybe they don't care. You know what I'm saying? But as a man, sometimes you have to go through some type of tragedy. And I'm not saying it's a tragedy, but you have to go through some real stupid shit to really get the point. Sometimes the crazy thing about it is, motherfuckers been telling me this shit for years. Telling me shit for years about the situation I've been dealing with and things I've been going through. But when this motherfucker got cracked and I couldn't make no money, ain't nobody else had to say it after that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I just think to myself, like, I like to be the person that give guidance and advice. But I get frustrated by it because I give people advice and then they go back and fuck it up. And it's kind of like, well, what's the point? It's hard knowing how things are going to turn out sometimes, or where life is going to take you. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to be a person that gives advice to other people to help them improve their lives. If the person don't listen. Like, the funny thing about having certain type of knowledge is, like, you want to spread it. Like, once I found out about this red pill shit, this alpha male shit, I want to tell everybody. It's kind of like, you almost want to push this shit off on other people. But the fact of the matter is, you really can't. You have to make, like, everybody who is involved with red pill or alpha male shit or knows, what shit really is, they have to find it out for themselves. Because I was once that nigga that used to believe that, girls wouldn't do this, a girl wouldn't do that. Sometimes chicks lie. Just stupid shit I used to believe. Now, it's like I done experienced it and been through it. I've been listening to guys that have a wealth of knowledge. Most people I listen to on these YouTube channels are older than me, except for Steph Clickscale. Shit. I think he's like 21. But no, like, I try to learn shit from younger motherfuckers. Like, But that's the difference between back then and now. Because when I was younger, there wasn't a such thing as YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a bunch of niggas telling me not to do shit. Like, nobody was telling me what I was doing was wrong. Except people I thought okay. When it came down to the marriage thing, I probably would have respected my dad's opinion a lot more had he not already did the shit he did with my mom. It's kind of like, you know, how a motherfucker gonna tell me having a wife is great if you still want to fuck hoes? You know what I'm saying? Like, the shit must not be that good if you want to be on this side of the track. Like, I have family members that's like that. Like, they married, but they still want to fuck other females. And I just think to myself, like, well, what's the point of tying my resources up with another woman, getting in a relationship, you know what I'm saying, being with her, building all this stuff, we got a family together in a house and all this other shit, if I'm going to just still go fuck off with other females? Now, it's different if you get that shit arranged in the contract or whatever y'all got going on. Like, I tell a girl, like, hey, you know, just so you know I'm going to be fucking other girls and you do whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? But to just pretend like I want to be with somebody and then it turns out to be like, oh, man, that shit ain't what I thought I wanted. I want to fuck other girls. And it's just stuff like that that just make me wish I had the knowledge of self back then. I mean, I know now, so I don't make those mistakes now. But it's just, you know, at this point in my life, I try to reach out and, you know, find knowledge on different stuff and, you know, listen to older guys and listen to their experiences. I'm a lot more open-minded now when it comes to, you know, listening to me. And I don't take advice from chicks most of the time. Because half of you motherfuckers don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then that's another thing. Like, I don't argue with women like that no more. I used to be real argumentative, which is how I got into a lot of this shit I be getting into. I always have to have a rebuttal, even with motherfuckers on Facebook. Like, that used to be my whole bread and butter. It's like arguing with chicks on Facebook all the goddamn time, you know? And I'm just at a point with it where I'm just like, nah, certain shit I ain't got to give my energy to. It's just easier for me to just cut the motherfuckers off and move on my life, man. But, yeah, man, do everything you can to reach out and, like, expand your mind. Don't just try to expand your fucking wallet. But this has been Rolling Wins for an Outlet podcast, man. I just wanted to get those things off my chest. I'm going to take me a fucking nap.